Awesome. Looks like we're live on Facebook. Hello, hello, blissful parenting family out there. I'm hoping you're having a fabulous day. Michelle Abraham, your host of Blissful Parenting Podcast here. Today, I am bringing you a really cool talk. I think you guys will really like this. We're talking about conversations with our inner bully and or inner bullies, because there's probably a few of them in there. And I am bringing to you a really amazing guest, Karen Abrams. Hi, Karen. How are you doing today?
I'm great. I'm so happy to be here today and talk to
Yeah,
you.
so awesome. So Karen is so great at really helping parents and families and kids get out of their own way so they can really live their best life. There's so many things that happen, I think, in our psyche and our subconsciousness that block us from really being super successful in all the things that you do. So Karen's got years and years of experience doing that, helping people, families, children, everything. So Karen, I'm so excited to dive into what we're going to talk about today. So welcome, welcome, welcome.
Oh, thank you so much. It's such an honor to be here with you, Michelle.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about your background. What do you do on a regular basis and how you help people?
Well, people usually come to me because they feel like they should be further along in their life than they are. They feel like they feel like they're stuck, in whatever it is. Sometimes they said, like, sometimes it's about money. Sometimes it's just about your life and what's going on. And you just can't seem to break through to get to the other side, no matter what you do. So I help people find and heal that one thing that's in the way of them getting that in their life and becoming more happy and more successful inside and out. And I do that with a technique called Theta Healing, which is basically just a simple meditation that allows you to connect into your subconscious mind and change those damaging beliefs that are holding you back in your life. Like, I'm nothing, I'm worthless, my needs never matter, or everything I do turns out, wrong. And you can energetically shift those. And then you also have access to these trapped emotions that you've had all your life and that you've inherited: anger and trauma, bitterness, things like that, that really kind of, uh, make things a little bit darker in the world than they need to be, and the way that you interpret them. And you can literally release them from your body and replace them with unconditional love, understanding, and compassion. And what happens is when you take those things, those thoughts and those feelings that have been a barrier for you, and you change them, you're turning them into a bridge to the other side so that you can get to where you really want to go in your life. And as far as, with what we're talking about in the inner bully, it's really going to help people change the way that they believe, what they believe about themselves, and really how they feel about themselves, so that they can move on in their lives the way they really want to.
Mm, that's awesome. And I'm sure some of you have seen the title of this, talking about your inner bullies. You think that we're going to be talking about your kids, but actually, by helping us as parents get rid of our inner bullies, that's really going to help our kids. Is that right, Karen?
Absolutely. Parents need to work on themselves first, because your kids, they got your number. They know who you are. I always say, they may not know who you dated in high school. They may not know how hard you partied in college, but they know you because you're with them every day and in every way. And so it's important for us, and I'm a parent, I know you are too. It's important for us, it's like physician heal thyself. It's important for us to work on ourselves while we're parenting. We're never going to reach nirvana and then teach them. We're just going to be on the road to it and bring them along.
Bringing them along for the ride and
Mm-hmm.
healing ourselves from our inner bully. I think it's going to be really helpful for them when they're out navigating the world. If we can give ourselves the tools to help combat our inner bullies, and also then the kids have the same tools too. We can teach them along the way. And there's nothing better than experiential learning, right?
Absolutely. I totally agree.
No handbooks for this job as a parent.
Well, actually, there's so many handbooks. How do you pick the one that you're going to choose? It's crazy.
That's true. It's almost the point now. There's too many choices. Which one do we follow? Yeah.
Right.
So
Exactly.
why is it important for us to really quiet down this inner bully? Why, like, what kind of effects is it having on us?
Well, I think there are three reasons that we need to do it. And I think it's health, I think it's happiness, and it's success. So health is because when that inner critical voice is telling you that you're doing something wrong or that you'll never get it right, things like that, or blaming you for something, for instance, it's stressing you out. All right. And we know that cortisol is a stress hormone, and it gets released when you feel this way. Cortisol causes inflammation in our body. Inflammation is one of the foundational elements of disease.
Mm.
So we want to turn that around and put the endorphins in our body and the things that make us feel calm and centered, and we can get that there through better messaging. Um, Happiness, I think it's pretty easy to understand. Happiness, I don't need to explain that one. But here's an interesting thing about success, uh, that when you change the way you message, it's like you change the way you're out in the world and your actions. So there's a statistic that says that women, who by the way used to be girls, I don't know if you knew that,
Mm.
but that they make $1.5 million less on average than men do, because they don't ask for raises.
Wow.
And when they do ask for raises, they ask for 40% less than men do. So that's an inner bully thing. That's something that women are taught through the way they were raised and what they saw and all of that sort of thing, that they're not good enough for that, and they're unworthy of higher prices and going out on a limb or taking a chance and a risk to ask for more. And so you can see how it could play out in your life later on.
Mm. So interesting. And full disclosure here, I've had a session with your theta therapy, and it was so interesting. Like, I just want to share with the parents, like, my experience with Karen was so incredible. Like, there's some things once you get into your subconscious that your subconscious is holding on to. It's like it's made contracts and binds with all these things that you didn't even realize that has, until then you can go in there and let it all go. And I had no idea. We were talking about relationship to money in our session, and it turned into all sorts of things that I was holding on to, from friends passing away in high school, and to all sorts of different crazy things. And it's really interesting, like the amount of space that I felt and calmness I felt after that session. It was just so incredible, that in the things that came up that you had no idea your subconscious is really holding on to. It was crazy.
It's an amazing thing when you go, your subconscious is really the source. And that's why whatever you do to change that part of you, like we're saying when we're talking about the inner bully,
Mm-hmm.
whatever you do to heal that part of you, you want to go down into that source place, because you need to heal these things at the root cause, or else, I think I've said it before, you're just painting a dirty wall,
Mm-hmm.
and that issue will just keep coming up over and over and over again. And with this work, all roads lead to Rome, as I say. And
Mm-hmm.
so wherever you start, it's going to lead you to the root cause of what's really going on. Because what you start with is really, and what you come to me, like I get annoyed all the time, or, I'm stressed out or whatever. Are things that are just symptoms of the deeper issue. So
Mm-hmm.
you want to get there no matter what you do first, so that you can really, really get at it and make a huge difference in your life and then your children's.
Mm-hmm. Now, Karen, I know a little bit about your story of how you got into it. Do you mind sharing a little bit about that? Because I think in a day and age where everything's so busy and crazy and we're go, 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 I think your story can really be empowering for a lot of the parents listening today.
Sure. Well, let's see, where can I start this? I saw a friend of mine, who's a very close friend of mine, change her life really quickly in a matter of, actually it was like a year, but like this big momentous year of time, where she changed all these foundational things in her life, her health, and she had a relationship that was not going where she wanted it to. And she kept burning her bridges because she had so much anger in her business. She was a brilliant woman, and she had an MBA. And so and all her friends were making like $400,000 a year. And this was like 20 years ago. And she just couldn't get there because she was getting in her way all over the place. And she started working with Diana Steibel, who was the founder of Theta Healing. And I just saw all of these things in her life change. And at the end of it, she started making money, which for me was like my biggest issue that was going on for me. And so I went to a class that she hosted and that Diana taught. And after 3 days, I noticed that I could breathe easier. And I was like, wow, that's so strange. I didn't know I wasn't breathing in the first place. And I had had anxiety for 6 years before that, which means that I was waking up terrified every single day, like a terrified cat, like jumped and clamped onto my chest every day. No hyperbole here. It was not fun. And all of a sudden I realized with this new space and this new breath, I went, oh my gosh, my anxiety is gone. And it was the first time in 6 years that my body had been out of fight or flight. And after that, like 3 weeks later, full disclosure, some of those symptoms started coming back and that shakiness started coming back. But by then I was into it and I was learning how to do it and I was practicing every day, and bit by bit by bit, I chipped it away. And eventually it just left. And I can't even tell you the day it left, because it just so, that level just went down and down and down till one day I just didn't notice that it was there anymore. It was amazing.
Yeah. I think that's amazing. And a lot of our kids suffer from anxiety now too. And I wanted you to share that story, because I think that could be really helpful for a lot of kids out there that are having anxiety issues too. So Karen, how can some of us maybe not realize that we're being bullying ourselves. So like,
Right.
I mean, I didn't really realize I had so many inner bullies until we started talking about it. And so how can, you kind of realize that you have an inner bully, and then how do you go from like realizing it to then doing something about it?
Well, you can realize it though. I said the easiest way is just to hear how you're talking to yourself. So whenever you make a mistake, what's the first thing you say to yourself?
Oh my God,
Right?
that's so
You
stupid.
say, right?
Yeah.
Right. It's just stupid. Right. God, I can't believe I did that again. Something like that. And whatever you say, that's going to bring you into contact with that inner bully really quickly. And next, what you've got to do is you have to be able to be aware of what those messages are so that you can change them. Because at the beginning, you've got to just really rewrite the script here. And so if you say that I always mess up, I'm always making things worse than they were before, then you've got to really have these other empowering statements there for you. Like I make things better when I walk in the room. I'm always, you have to do things and say things to yourself that are empowering instead of disempowering. And like I said before too, that you need to have some sort of technique that can get you to the root causes of those issues, because that inner bully isn't really going to go anywhere unless you heal it right there. And I wanted to say something, and it may be something that's going to come up anyways. Your inner bully is not there to push you down and keep you down, actually, even though we're calling it that, and that's what a bully does. It actually is here to help you and to keep you safe. It's just so terrified that if you go out of your comfort zone, that you're going to miserably fail or die, or some horrible thing is going to befall you, that it's keeping you like in this lane. It just wants to keep you in the lane, but because it loves you and wants to protect you, just like an overprotective,
Like it loves you too much.
Yeah. It loves you too much. Overprotective parent or somebody like that is just over controlling, but they're really doing it because they're scared something bad's going to happen. And so those are the things you need to do to really begin that journey into a better place for yourself inside out.
That's awesome. And so now I think just talking about it and reiterating like positive, reinforcement talks probably not good enough to kind of get rid of it, right? So what's the kind of thing that we're going to need to, and like, especially with our kids too, like how do we help our kids get going on, start noticing them saying some self-depreciating things, and it's like, oh gosh, like that you're too little to be saying that. And I know my son comes home from school sometimes like, I hate you, everyone hates me, and I'm like, no, no, who's everyone? Like, no, what are you talking about?
Right.
It's hard to hear that, right?
Right. We think that that voice inside of us, that inner critical voice, is going to tell us that we're not enough, right?
Yeah.
And so I'm not likable, I'm unlikable, I'm unlovable, those sorts of things. And like your child is reacting, your son is reacting to what another child is saying in their head and repeating out into the world. So I have a really fun tool that you can use that can really help you out. And it's called Reminding, and it's from author Dr. Jim Samuels. And it's really wonderful because you can use this it was originally, as I understand it, you use this tool a lot when you've got a complicated relationship where somebody is harming you or bullying you or some sort of thing where you feel like they've taken your power away from you, or you've unconsciously relinquished it. But basically what it is that you imagine that person and then you dress them up, you cartoonize their appearance. So you give them big bunny ears, you know, give them big eyes or big lips or big ear, you know, whatever it is to make them, or turn them into a cartoon character. And then when you think of them, you just go to that cartoon character until that moment where it makes you laugh or makes you smile, you know? And so that whenever you think of that person, you start to laugh. When you come in contact with that person, you might be laughing on the inside and you've disempowered them and you've empowered yourself. And so I wanted to show you something if you're all right. And I forgot to ask you about this, but I'm going to go for it. So what you can do with your kid is in Zoom. We're in Zoom right now because of COVID. We're all in Zoom, right? And you're going to school. There are these really cool filters, right? That are in your, you can go into, where is the filter? There it is. Here's a filter here. And you can make those cartoon characters happen already. So you can put a cartoon character on you. Where's this one? Let's see. Can you see this one? Oh, no. Yeah. So there's one that's a bunny. That's the one I wanted. Where's my bunny? Here it is. Oh, there you go. How about that one?
That's a good one.
Or is that one better? Here you go. Here's this. This is a good one. All right. So imagine that you get on with your kid and you put on something like this, right? And you say, nobody likes me. You see what happens? You just start laughing. And I should probably turn this back on because I'm being serious again. But yeah, right. Like so how can you take anything I say? If I say to you, Michelle, you're never going to amount to much. There's nothing you can do that will ever amount to anything, right? It just makes you laugh. I've been totally disempowered from my effect on you. And so you can do that with your child, and then they can start laughing at those voices inside their head. Right. And you can also help them say, you know, you're a silly rabbit, you know, or something back and say, no, that's not true. You know, something like that if you want to.
That's cool. I love that.
Yeah, isn't that great?
And the kids are already doing that in Messenger to each other anyways. So it's perfect. They know how to do it.
It's perfect for them. And you can use it on yourself. You can come on here and do that with yourself when you think, you know, I'm nothing and I'm no one and whatever, and put that on. And that's the image that you'll get in your head too. And so it's kind of the gift that keeps on giving.
I love it. That's so cute. It's like the Snapchat filters too, right?
Yeah.
There's a use for them finally.
Right, exactly.
There's a meaningful use for them. That's awesome.
Yeah. I know.
Oh my goodness. So Karen, I love what you're saying here. And like, you know, just reaching back to the parents like working on yourself is going to be so beneficial for your kids to see you also investing time in your own health and wealth and your own well-being. And, you know, I think the trickle down effect in a household is huge, especially when it starts with the mom or dad. So, and then like, my gosh, that transpires out into the world too. So, Karen, any last parting words that you have for parents who are about to embark on this journey?
Yes. You know, changing your inner critic or changing your inner bully into an ally is really one of the kindest things you can do for yourself and, you know, and for your children. And healing the root causes of that voice is going to help you get what you really desire and deserve out of your life and help your children get that too. And it's not hard. As you say, it could be as close as a click on the button on your Zoom just to begin that healing process. So, you know, go for it because it's totally worth it.
Very cool. So now, is theta healing safe for kids, or do they have to be a certain age to do that as well?
It's safe for everybody. You know, it's just a matter of, is this, you know, whatever you do to help yourself, you've got to just figure out if it's right for you. Yeah. You know, kids are already in the theta brain wave, which means their subconscious mind is already open, accepting everything we say and do to them and everything that's going on around them. And so,
and that's still about 8 years old, right? Is that 8?
Yeah. And right. That's why, you know, our childhoods are so impactful in our lives, even though intellectually we may know something different now and we've learned something since then, but it's so deep. It's so deeply embedded. So kids are already there. And so the more you change yourself, and they'll pick that up, like the more you change yourself from the inside out, they'll pick that up and it'll help them calm down too.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just wonderful. The more you do it, you'll be amazed and you'll be amazed at the silence that you will hear inside of your head,
Yeah.
and how, kind of like when you're in a forest and you
Mm-hmm.
just hear the breeze, and it's amazing. I
That's so
highly
cool.
recommend.
That must be nice since you're
Uh-uh.
nothing.
Yes.
Awesome. Well, Karen, where can our parents find out more information about you?
Well, you can go to my website, which is think, theta.com. And from there you can connect with me. I will be happy
Awesome.
either through email, or my phone number's there too.
Yeah, that sounds wonderful. All right, blissful parents out there, make sure you connect with Karen. She's a wealth of information. It's so cool, all the things she's up to. And parents out there, have a blissful week. We're getting close to the holiday season. So make sure you go out there, spend some time with your family, and enjoy that time. Until next time, be blissful. See you next week.
Thank you so much. This was awesome.
Thanks, Karen. Take care.
I will.